Okay. Hi, hello everyone. Thank you for joining. So my name is Vivek. I am the practice head for IFS. I also handle other practices that involves Navacura, Boomi, robotic process automation, and CRM practices. So it's all around IFS practices. I'm delivering the global rollouts, implementations, technical supports for IFS and also for other products what I mentioned earlier. The next 30-40 minutes, I'll walk you through the IFS upgrade, the factory model what we devised, which is in place, where we are able to see the real tangible benefits in terms of cost benefits, in terms of quality products, in terms of maintaining the triangular, the controlling points of projects, the time, cost, and quality in terms of meeting the deadlines, what approaches we apply at the customer level, what are the common challenges. If you have any questions, feel free to stop me. We'll clarify and then we can move forward. Right. Let's start with the executive summary. So this will set the path for the next 30-40 minutes. We are going to talk about the factory model. Factory model consists of skilled resources who have lots of product experience and the project experience in terms of handling multi customers, in terms of handling cross domains, in terms of handling the CRUMs, the customizations, integrations, reports, and the other components. So the bundled package, the skilled resources helps us to have very robotic structure. So the resource need at the customer level, irrespective of whether we are at the starting stage or at the initial scoping phase or at the piloting phase or doing the mapping, etc. The resource supply from center of excellence will ensure there is a required resources sufficiently provided. So that ensures the project is managed well within the boundary lines in terms of timelines, budgets, and the quality aspects. We leverage our ProV's the multi-location presence. We have people sitting in the Asian time zone. We have resources available in the Europe time zone. We have people available in USA time zones. So these three helps us to leverage our resources at different point in time. So the customer do not feel any time lag or in terms of any delivery delay. Overall, our experiences with our past calculations, we are able to save 35 to 40% of overall project cost. If we go to the on-site, we sit with the customer, do all the project steps from end to end, starting from initiation to final go live and then hypercare support. If everything is done on-site, what is the total cost? If you are able to leverage this model, the COPO model, Flexi model, in which we have most of the resources in the at ProV locations, and we send people only for critical activities to the customer side. So there is a tangible quantum jump in terms of reduction in the cost, project cost, and in terms of the portion of work that can be dedicated, that can be given to the center of excellence, which can be run at the ProV offshore centers, it's close to 100% because we have people who can speak the customer language, literally their local language. Of course, we are very good in product knowledge, in terms of domain knowledge, in terms of providing the roadmap, in terms of providing advisory values. So we are able to leverage our vast experiences. Myself, I have around 24 years of experience. So my teams are having close 15 plus years of experience. They work from real R&D. The people who worked on developing the screens, the people who worked on putting the workflows in the product, IFS product, they are part of our team. So that the experience leverage we have at our disposal. So that eliminates most of the tasks which do not add much value at the customer side can be taken out and we take care of those activities. So You focus on more of improving your current the value additions, business logics, tackling the change management, because when you go from lower version to higher version, the look and feel could be different. The way you deal the business, the workflow you want to in the higher versions, it will be different. There will be workaround solutions you have to go through, because if you want to drop your existing customizations, that may not be exactly having right fitment. That means you need to go around solution to find the solution, the requirement met. So that means the more of a change management handling, it is more of the customer duty. So you take care of those aspects. We take care of building the solution. We take care of training the super users. We take care of delivering the good solution, and also do the transition to the supporting, so that there is a seamless transition from project team to the maintenance team, in terms of documentation, in terms of knowledge transfer, in terms of providing the workable handshake, in terms of all the open issues. There could be some issues still pending because of third party integrations are not in available on time. So those things should be handled by the support team. So we'll ensure the handshake is given properly to the support team. We realign, we do the monitoring, we evaluate at each project phase. We ensure we take corrective steps and also improve based on best practices to ensure we give the right level of product value addition to the customer. And most of the projects we handle as part of fixed projects. So that ensures there is no budget overrun, there is no much risk at the customer side. So, as I said earlier, our center of excellence is a primary the focal point which provides the resources cutting across multiple customers in different regions. We follow these 6 project pillars, we call it. This helps us to ensure the customer satisfaction is achieved to the right level of the within the budget, within the time, and the quality. We use our highly experienced resources, and we have the tailored questions that will send before any meeting. So that means the customer, the key users, the super users, the domain experts, the subject matter experts will be much prepared before coming to the meeting. So we always run the workshops based on questionnaires, and we also ensure there is an effective review process. You document the process, get it approved, reviewed by the business, by the domain experts, by the subject matter experts, and then incorporate the product limitations, highlight the product limitations, ensure it is well understood across the table, so that it will all have seamless the upgrade process, or else there will be a lot of the expectations not met, or expectations were not captured in the document. There were implied requirements like performances related, or there is a look and feel normally expected but not highlighted in any document. So those kind of things will ensure it is articulated, captured, well understood from both sides, customer side plus partner ProV side. And then preventive actions. Preventive actions in terms of any slippages, or in terms of any new knowledge required for a particular customer needs. They can have a different third-party products. The third-party product may demand very totally different new skill, the resource, new integrations, or online linking with the customer portal or the government portal for tax, legal, and statutory purposes. We'll ensure we take the corrective actions so that our project plan it is well accommodated, including all these variances. So doing things well in advance, doing things considering the regulatory impact plays a vital role in overall project completion, the timeline. And all our performances are measured based on predefined, mutually agreed metrics, right? So in terms of any document deliverables, in terms of any requirement gathering, or in terms of any piloting, in terms of training. We measured them, the effectiveness, because those effective corrective feedback will help us to provide the better services. And all our communications will be transparent in terms of sharing the common folder for projects, ensuring the documents are properly segregated based on who can create, who can do the approval, what are the signed documents. All the signed documents are separated out from the normal working documents, so those signed documents are sacrosanct. It should be well referenced for any project monitoring. So the communication is well defined, so it helps us to be more transparent. Basically, it's just building the trust between both teams, right? So what we see here is a typical the resource allocations across the different layers of the project. So in a factory, in our operations in different countries, we have the core technical people, the database administrator, the role administrator. As you know that in IFS, the segregation of role plays a vital role, which is very much important in compliance with GDPR requirements. Right? Who creates? Who does the validation? Who does the approval? Up to what level of documents can be visible by what level of authority? So those kind of visibilities, the restrictions, the norms, the regulations, what data should be visible to whom, what data the company can share with external parties. So those restrictions are handled by the user role admin. He ensures screen level restrictions, data level restrictions, and the look and feel in terms of whether the field should be displayed or not displayed. If it's displayed, is it only view only, or it can also edit? So the user role admin plays a very vital role in comparing with the current norms, especially GDPR requirements. And the one level up, we have all the program management framework, where we already stabilize the project plan, will ensure the timelines, work breakdowns, responsibilities, people who are responsible are well defined. Of course, we must already identify the resources between both teams. All the program management framework will form in the middleware. That middleware is the sacrosanct across both parties. The people are sitting near to the customer, people from the remote factory. People near to the customer or in the place of customer will be on-site project manager. The project manager will have the local flair in terms of speaking to the customer in local language. In Germany, German. In France, it's French, etc. And the people who get the requirements dealing with the subject expect matters. So they will leverage this local flavor to be more close to the customer, more close to the people who provide the requirements. So there is a less or no misunderstanding in terms of capturing the requirements, because that is the foundation for all the steps going forward. So it is a less number of people, but they will be more close to customer in terms of cultural and other aspects. And from the customer side, we talked about the subject matter experts. Some customers, they call it domain experts. And there will be a change control board, because when you go from legacy to newer versions, look and feel, workaround solutions, new solutions, all those things require more conveniencing from the management to the users to adapt the solutions, so that the inherent capabilities and the richness of the product is really seen and then utilized. The value is derived. So that's where the change control board plays a vital role. You have the scope. If there is a change in the scope, then it should be routed through the change control board, so that the change control board is having sufficient information to take the call to accommodate the request, the new change request, to be before the go live or after the go live. There are certain things forgotten in the initial scoping, which is must before go live. So those things, change control board will take the decisions and pass on the comments to the one level up, right? So the steering committee will take care of whether to go for extending the timeline, extending the budget, or take out the sum of the scope and include this additional scope which is mandatory in place of that. So those decisions will be taken, the high level. So the change control board plays a vital role in an upgrade project especially. And we also have lots of documentations. We emphasize, we have the templates, we give the templates, we adapt to the customer needs. There will be slightly a few columns added to incorporate more clarifications, more transparency. So we'll ensure all the templates are shared well in advance along with the sample data. So the understanding from the other side is much easier, faster, and more effective. So change control management, issue log, risk log, document management, as in where we are saving, who can access, what type of access authority, read only, write, and then segregating documents, grouping documents, signed documents, and the quality check. Before delivering any documents to the customer, we'll have an internal, the QA well checked, the review is done, and then it is moved to the common folder for customer review. So this gives the overall picture on how a typical the factory we normally practice, right? If you want to adapt a few things here and there, depends on the customer need and the closeness of the SMEs, we can adapt. So before moving on, do you have any questions till now?
I think there was one question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
From all right. Max, can you read out the question? Yes, there's no question in the chat yet. You can just type your questions in the comment section in the chat. Question is, what is the average time frame from your experience for such a project?
Right. You asked the question well in advance, so it's really a very important question. There are subsequent slides where this point is precisely mentioned. To have the initial idea, for an upgrade, it's from 4 to 6 months. Okay? It depends on where you start. If you start from 7.5, it will take more number of months, weeks to reach the final destination, either IFS 10 or cloud. If you're starting from 9 or 10 and you are moving to cloud, it's much faster, because 10 and cloud, the arena client is already exposed to the end users, so there is a least time required for change control in terms of change management. If you're starting from 7, totally different technology, and there is no layer architecture in 7, and you are moving to the cloud, then it takes a longer time, and we also need to take the necessary insights on, is it good to go for an upgrade or do we go for a greenfield, because higher versions has more improved processes, so those processes can get rid of some of or many of your customizations which are currently out of IFS support or requires more partner support, require more maintenance. So the business trading pros and cons need to be done, and then we need to take the right course of action, which direction we move ahead. Upgrade 4 to 6 months or 4 to 8 months, or a greenfield implementation, which will take anywhere between 5 to say 6 to 7 months. depends on the number of modules, number of users, number of the databases. Are you using a single database where you have many companies, or you have distributed databases and you have another database to do the consolidation? In case of rigs, you have on-site, onshore database, and there are rigs, they have their individual independent databases. Normally they link through satellite communication, right? So those things, it depends on case to case. So in normal, upgrade 4 to 8 months, 4 to 6 months, and the greenfield, it is 6 to 8 months. Is it clear? You need more clarification? Okay, I take it as no, and then let me proceed. These are the common the situations and the real the forces behind going from lower version to higher versions. The quality of the system in terms of navigation, in terms of look and feel, or in terms of meeting the new regulations. So that is one aspect. Better performance. When we started, the number of customers, number of users, number of inventories, number of employees, number of fixed assets, they were less in numbers. But over the period of time, they have gone exponentially increased number of counts. So that means all the underlying transactions, the system should be able to perform better, at least retain the same capacity in terms of responsiveness. So that is another reason. Increasing only the RAM and capacity alone will not give you the same performance. The coding logic, the improved technology, improved the coding pattern, improved the object-oriented concepts, the repetitive usage of the system APIs, that helps to retain the performance or increase the performance. That's another one of the foundation reason why we need to go for upgrade. User productivity in terms of look and feel, in terms of making the user to use the system. The system should cater to most of the business needs or all of the business needs of the business users. Assuming you are having a IFS and you start allowing your users to use Excel, Word for other reporting, other external data generation or data sharing, then you do not have the opportunity to, or you lose the opportunity to leverage the inherent capabilities of product. So we need to make the product as an independent, self-sufficient product, so the product is used to the maximum possible extent. So the return on investment is much higher, much faster. Higher process productivity is what the best practices are available in the latest versions. So 5 years, 6 years, 7 years before, those things were not there, or they were at the very nascent stage, or not even thought about it. So those processes are available now. So you can cut it, you can remove those terms, customizations, improve integration within company in terms of consolidation, in terms of controlling operations within multi companies. If you want to close a particular accounting period, or if you want to close a particular year, if you have more number of companies, there are multiple ways in which you can ask the user to do one after another company wise, or you can control at once that is linked with group of companies. So those kind of improved integrations within company is more visible, more user friendly in the higher versions. And integration with third party softwares like Novacura, Boomi. So these are all third party products. Normally our experience with customers, whatever customization they want to do in terms of new screens, new flows, or B2B solutions. They want to deal with the external suppliers. They want to qualify the supplier, and then they want to do the RFAQ everything through external portal. And then they go for Novacura. They don't want to maintain everything within IFS. IFS, it will be maintained as an evergreen. So when there is a patch coming from IFS, the regression impact on the IFS product is much lesser or even nil, near to zero. You take care of all those things outside IFS. So overall, it boils down to lower IT cost because you spend less or minimal for the maintenance. Continuity of old software, old technology, because old technology, there is no skilled people available in the market. Even somebody is having a vast experience after retirement, there is no new people available to support old technologies, right? So these are all factors which drives the management to go for higher version through upgrade or integrations.
Vivek, I have one more question.
Yeah.
So, what are the top 3 typical errors to avoid for such a project? And are audit and compliance functions involved into the project, and where?
Right. So I have a slide, next one. I have to, since the question has come, a very important aspect of a project which may go wrong is on the scoping. Scoping is very, very, very important. That's why we normally do due diligence. So the due diligence exercise is normally done between 2 to 6 weeks. There we understand the as-is process and the new IFS version we are going ahead. We'll ensure there is a perfect understanding between these two. Where is the gap? What is the bridging mechanism? So the scoping is the highest top priority. So if there is a mismatch, then project will go for task. Second one is the communication. Communication in terms of project plan, in terms of risk controlling, in terms of tracking. Tracking, it can be your all the development tracking or the milestone based tracking. So there should be a clear template understood from both sides, and it is properly updated, meaning periodically updated and reviewed during daily, weekly, monthly meetings. If anything is not within the project manager scope, then it should be escalated to one level up. So it is taken care at the change control board or at the steering company meeting, right? Committee meeting. And the third one is on the change control board. When we are moving from lower version to higher version, there should be a strong push from the management to adapt to the new process on the users. Screen the process. People normally say, because I worked in France for close to 2 decades, people say, I am doing purchase order for the last 25 years. So what is new in IFS ERP? So the way they do the steps they have to go through, there are different stages. So different stages, different people, they have to act. But in the legacy system, they will allow one person to do everything end to end. So there is a real change of mindset, change of or alignment of business process along with the local norms. What data, who can see it, what level of the secrecy should be maintained, right? So these three are very, very important. First is the scope, second one is on the communication, third one is on the change control. These three, right? Is it answers your question? Of course, there are other things from both sides, documentations on the existing legacy versions, and the people. If you're already using IFS, then we should be able to leverage that skill. So those are other less priority, but these three are vital pillars which will make or break the project. Right. So moving very close to the IT and business, the drivers. The IT, the lack of support, updates from the software vendor, and supported technology, because the old versions they use different coding language. For that language, there is no people available in the market, or people available are they are either they are upskilled to a new technology or they are retired. Those kind of situations. From business, highly disparate, distributed process, they want to standardize. All the countries, though they differ on local aspects, at least in the core process, they want to follow the same standard process in terms of how they want to maintain the customer, how they want to maintain the naming conventions. They don't have the duplications. They don't want to have any disparity in the financial reports, because it's all everything going to the corporate. Corporate understands only one way of language, so it is easy if the source is maintaining the data the same way. So when it goes to the corporate, there is no need for data transmission. When there is a transmission, either the transmission logic should be very tight with no gap, or you spend a lot of effort and monitoring to ensure there is no break. So to avoid that, ensure end-to-end data is standardized. Analytics and reporting. Now IFS is heavily using a Power BI report. Power BI is very, very simple. So it's more of the Excel, but it's advanced Excel with more control online, and you can also have snapshots every 8 hours or 24 hours. So those kind of reports also you can take. And all the inefficient processes, either now done outside IFS or done through customizations, you can get it off and move to the more efficient best practices. And during the initiation and scoping phase, these are all very, very important for this. This answers one of the previous questions. So we need to have very structured interaction with the business, right? In order to leverage what are the assets they already have in terms of documentations, in terms of processes, in terms of all the workflows. If it is well documented, then we should be able to leverage those documents instead of reinventing the wheel. So we look at the current version, look at the list of models, the crimps, and then we do the mapping with the 2B. What crimps, the mandatory crimps are nice to have crimps, which are to be migrated or which can be met through workaround solution, or which can be completely dropped because there is an equivalent process available in the higher versions. And the workflows, do you have any amount-wise workflow, or do you have any role-based workflow? Approvals in terms of time reporting, in terms of expenses, or in terms of invoice, the authorization for payments. So those things, if they are well documented, we can leverage, because those are very standard and there is no much change in the new versions. So we should be able to leverage. So that's where the scoping is very, very important. And what are the reports and what type of tools are used? Those tools are still supported, or they have to be supported by extra license, or can we use something inherent to IFS, or the IFS supported reporting tools like Power BI or SSRS. So those reports we need to analyze. And the team from both sides, it's a one team, right? Project team from customer side, from partner ProV side. We ensure there is a proper coordination, proper understanding. The trust level is built at the beginning, so the project goes well and the deliverables are measured at the milestone phases, and corrective actions are taken whenever there is a slippage, or there is a scope creep, or there is a need for ramping up or ramping down the resource due to some unforeseen situations like pandemic, right? The travel, we have to reduce the travel. So those kind of initial trust built with the customer helps in continuing the project even with so much of unforeseen situations. And then the strong support from management, the key domain experts, subject matter experts. These are all very much important. So the project, the change management is taken care, and the project is delivered with the limited constraints, limited open points, or limited issues, right? So typically we go for a technical upgrade wherein we ensure whether the software in terms of DB database, or if you are going for cloud, then cloud takes care of all the required infrastructure. If you want to go for on-premise, whether the server, its specification sizing is capable enough, is it with the right sizing, is Oracle in the right version. So we will ensure that those things are upgraded. Then we'll put the highest the version is IFS 10 or the cloud. IFS cloud can be installed on premise as well as on cloud. Okay, in both versions, both situations. Then we'll ensure the consolidation in terms of all third-party products, integrations, connecting with online portals are linked together, tested well, and then the blueprinting for introducing additional businesses, the business processes. The legacy version may not have all the processes. Some processes are introduced lately by IFS, so the business finds a reason, logic behind leveraging the new aspects, then that also will be included. So this is a stepwise process. So when the steps are clearly defined and actively achieved, and there is a quality gate to move to the next stage, then there is a less chance for slipping, less chance for missing out the promised commitments. Then finally the continuous improvements, that improvements in terms of accommodating new standards, eliminating any substandard customizations, eliminating any substandard reports, leveraging more the latest reporting tools, of course, taking care of any licensing costs, etc. So that ensures there is a continuous support from software vendors, also from supporting partners like us to support on the new technology, meeting new regulations. Now let's see the type of upgrade. Upgrade literal meaning you go from one version to another version. So normally it is a legacy to higher versions. It's a linear upgrade, right? An upgrade you can do only for database, meaning you do not have any CRUDs. You are using only standalone, the standard out of box. You want to go only the standard one to the higher versions. Why you want to go? Because the old technology is no more supported. There is no maintenance team, and the cost involved in financing that maintenance team is too high. So you go for an upgrade. That's the first technical upgrade. Second type, technical upgrade with CRUMs. There are certain CRUMs, because custom components, reports, integrations with third-party tools, or modifications. You have created new screens, etc., or business processes within IFS. You want to move that, of course, only the mandatory ones which are not available in the higher versions. Yeah, when there is a equivalent or worker version available, you try to remove these unwanted creams and go with only relevant creams. This is the second type, basic upgrade plus upgrade only the required creams. And third one, this is just addition of the previous one. In this, you also include some additional business processes. You are a manufacturing company. There is no manufacturing visualizer currently activated. You want to go for it because you see a very tangible benefit. Your business will definitely derive a lot of uses, the benefits. You want to activate. You want to activate the constraint-based scheduling, CBS. So this is the third level of upgrade. And the fourth level is a greenfield implementation. You have legacy, you keep it as it is, you isolate it, but you want to go to the newer one from scratch. So you take the relevant data especially the open data and the balances from legacy, and move to the higher versions from scratch. What is the major difference between the last one and the remaining three? The last one ensures there is no polluted data carry forward to the higher versions. You ensure what data to go into the new version. And the previous ones, they carry, if there is a junk data, there is a duplicated data, then those things are still carry forward to the newer versions. Of course, you can cleanse and write a script to remove all those data, provided those data are not linked with any transaction data. If it is linked with transaction data, then we should ensure that the cleansing is done end to end. Or else, if one table is left out from cleansing, it will have a regression impact. Not now, not after 6 months, maybe after 2 years. When you go for a consolidated report output, it will give an error. So there is always an element of doubt. Always an element of inefficiency, ineffective stuff. Right? Greenfield ensures you decide what to go in from legacy to higher version. And this table has a lot of information, but after this slide will be shared. This will give a detailed nuances of when you go for technical upgrade, when you go for greenfield implementation. Right now, for example, you have the process standardization. There are more standardization in IFS 10 and above compared to the earlier one. So then you go for a technical upgrade. In case of opportunity enhanced data, process standardization. This is what we talked about. Any duplicates you can remove. You can ensure, you can decide what to go, what not to go. Right? Data impact, program impact. This is exactly the same question you were asking. What is the duration for technical upgrade? What is the duration for in case of greenfield? So 4 to 6 months is the typical timeline. This 6 to 9 months. So this from the simple, medium, and high. It's average data. Okay? So in our experience, it's 6 to 8 months. It is the implementation, and 4 to 6 is a acceptable, more logical technical upgrade based on our experience. And when recommended, if you have a single instance, you have only one instance, many companies are hosted on it or installed, then you go for a technical upgrade. When you go for greenfield, you have multiple instances, meaning you have different distributed setup. Then you want to do the consolidation. Then you go for greenfield implementation, meaning from scratch you determine where to pull the data and what data to be pushed into the newer system. Hybrid is also possible. So you can also do a technical upgrade for few and then greenfield for remaining. So hybrid is also possible. The decision will be more informed based on our due diligence exercise, which will happen for 2 to 6 weeks. So we will have a dedicated experts coming to our site, interacting with our solution experts, the SMEs, domain leads, and understand the impact of going for upgrade and greenfield implementation. They will give the pros and cons and let you take a decision. Of course, the benefits, in terms of benefits, time and cost of project are reduced. Yes. And the less time spent on redeveloping, testing, customizations. Every time when there is a new need, new norms like GDPR, you need not develop additional customization. Higher version, it contains a standalone, so the one licensing price takes care of maintaining the additional components also. So that means it's the total cost of ownership, TCO, is lesser in terms of going for an upgrade. If you do not go for an upgrade, then the software provider may not support the version, or they will charge multiple times of what they are charging now. So that means you tend to skip some of the major upgrades. Yeah, some of the batches you may tend to skip. So that will have a more inherent ineffective stuff, it will impact the performance, or you need to go for more customizations. A risk of non-compliance with the IT standard measurements and security protocols will have an impact. Of course, the risk of security vulnerabilities in case of any. Now, recently we had the malware, the Log4j case, right? So IFS was able to provide the bug fixing within a short period of 1.5 weeks of that malware. So we apply to all our customers, so that risk is eliminated. So those kind of supports are coming from a software provider. So that's better. We also align our roadmap along with the software providers roadmap. And in terms of critical parameters, again, project plan important, connectivity, because we work in different locations, and measuring milestone based, right skill set and the knowledge, right skill set from our side, and the domain expert or process knowledge from your side, right? And the robust governance model to ensure the project is on track and mid-course correction is taken at the right time and the right resolution is put in place, well understood and implemented. Adherence to the process in terms of documentation, communication, and in terms of educating the party sitting across the table, we both understand the same language. Innovation, always including the best practices that keep on coming from software vendor. And after the go live, business continuity is very important. So we'll ensure there is a seamless transition from project team to supporting. So system stable, the character is very much important to carry out the day-to-day processes. And it is easier for the user to start using the system, leveraging the system, trying to use IFS to the maximum possible extent. So that means there is a good level of training required to the business users. And there is a transparent information from management on the open issues and any future deliverables. So the users are always kept informed and they also feel more part of the team. That's very much important to realize the benefits of the overall product. And of course, the last one, we need to be compliant with legal as well as fiscal norms. So this is a typical steps we follow in an upgrade. We start with the initiation and then the scoping. Then we do pilot upgrade. Before go live, we do the rehearsal. Rehearsal is where we need to ensure the change management is properly applied. Users are mentally fine-tuned and ready to accept the new changes. And then go live. Each phase has dedicated steps, and it is for the project manager from both sides to ensure they are measured and the quality gate is properly tagged from moving from one phase to another phase. Right. So in all the phases, we as a service provider and IFS as a software provider, we work together. And the scoping we provide, take care of the plan, providing people, explaining features available in the higher versions, studying the as-is system, and advising what CRM can be dropped, what CRM can be met with workaround solutions, or what CRM can be carry forward because the business feels it's mandatory. So those will come from ProV. IFS will get the sizing infrastructure and plan for technical upgrade in terms of upgrading the standard, the database. We get the support from IFS. Upgrade phase, we do the data extraction, DB copy, dev. It's with us. It's a real upgrade. We get the script from IFS and also access to the customer environment from IFS hosted infrastructure. We need to get the access, so we'll be able to do the upgrade because the script is available in that secured location. Rehearsal, ensuring more training, users are well trained, and before go live, we do the mock-up. So it's called reversal. We get the rebuild, and we'll also get any additional extension, global extension. But in the new Pro versions, those things are merged together, right? The old versions, they are core product and global extensions. So those details we get it from IFS. Then go live. We take care of frontline support. IFS will be on standby mode for any technical support. Right. These are technical challenges we face in across customers. Okay, we put pressure on technical team, so there is a chance for missing any crim not tested but pushed like this based on certain assumed effectiveness or a few assumed correctness, but it impacts when it goes to the production. And the database character 19C is the required version of Oracle for IFS 10 and cloud. We face a lot of issues in invalid objects because in a bulk they take only the sample testing, but we ensure the sample testing is proper. Custom fields will not work. Segregation of duty, that will not work after upgrade. So we have to do the repatching, do the testing. View structure, field validations, they will get scrambled because old table is different, new table is different. So they will not sit exactly. And when you are also moving your crim to the additional tables, linking between crim and the standard code, that patching should be tested, documented, and the delivery should be properly packaged and deployed. Right? And the status changed. Some of the invoices, POs, you have the different statuses, right? Initiation, saved, approved, partly paid, etc. When you move from one to another, especially when you're adding additional language, then it totally scrambles. So that needs to be tested in the test environment. That is where your the upgrade and the reversal, that two phases play a very vital role. The typical upgrade, we suggest to have teams from both sides, so it is more of a collective work. We have functional consultant, technical consultants, database admin, user role, migration lead, and offshore manager. These are from ProV side, and counterpart also we expect from customer side. So the responsibilities and the existing knowledge is leveraged, and the responsibility is clearly articulated, so we meet our expectations. Right? This is a typical project team structure for a mid-size. How ProV can help? Of course, our single point of contact, trained resource, our resources are certified, and we provide the seamless maintenance even after post-collapse support, so customer need not worry about the transition. And we have very attractive SLAs, so we can also explain you the SLAs. So you can choose dedicated model, managed services. So all those stuff you can definitely leverage even after go live. After project is completion, we'll ensure the monitoring of the system parameters are properly handed over, and the stability of the support model, documentation, knowledge transfer, right? And if the support also we are taking care, we ensure there is a training on the ticketing tool. We also have our training because we support large number of IFS and other product customers. We can also explain you our ticketing tool, so you can also be part of the same tool. So you can leverage many of the standard reports with less cost. So that we will ensure the project is properly closed out with delivery completion, fixing of defects. If any open defects, we do the proper handovering, and the readiness of the ticketing system for the support team. So these are the key factors in project completion. Overall challenge in terms of connectivity, because we work in different locations, we should have a dedicated network connectivity, and ramping up, ramping down, we take care of from the center of excellence. So overall, 40% of the cost reduction, 100% jobs, activities can be done from ProV operations using a remote upgrade factory. So So these are our sample customers where we have done upgrades, implementation, support work, technical work. They spread across Europe, US, and Asian region. So what we do next? So I have the questionnaire. So this questionnaire contains first level, second level questions. This is to make us understand what is your current system and what are your next target in terms of upgrade. Okay, I can send you this questionnaire. It is also included along with the PPT. We can provide this information as much as possible. Once we get the preliminary input from you, we'll come back to you for any clarifications or additional inputs. Right. So we are global presence. We are more efficient in terms of product flexibility and product knowledge. More responsive in terms of around the clock throughout the year. Quality team, as I already explained. Customer commitment comes first for us. So that's all I have as part of this meeting. I think we are on time. If you have any questions, we can take in another few minutes.